Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them. On the 20th of November 2003, James Ignatius O'Rourke McMahon was elected councillor for the Failsworth East Ward of Oldham. Deeply ambitious, he ruthlessly rose to power, and by 2011, he was already leader of the council. In 2015, exploiting a Labour Party loophole, he became MP for Oldham West and Royton. If only the people of the town knew then what they now know. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.
Very, very good evening. Monday, the 24th of June 2024. My name is Raja Mia. This is one of those Recusant 9 transmissions. We've not had one in a while, and my apologies. I've just been busy campaigning. We didn't know the election was going to be called in the way it was, and it's been a very short window to prepare. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone who supported the crowdfunder to raise the funds we have managed to raise so far. We're still short by, I think, just under £2,000 for us to break even, but it makes no difference really, because without your help and without the help of so many of you, we would never have been able to do what we have done so far, which is run the sort of campaign never before seen in Oldham by an opposition party, never mind an independent group of community activists such as ourselves. So for that, they will try and erase what happened in the record books of our town, but for that, what we've done is completely unprecedented. So thank you very, very much to all of you. And if you can support the crowdfunder and are yet to do so, or can stretch a little bit more, please do so. I'll put the link up at some point, but the link's up on pretty much all my Facebook pages and everywhere, so you all know what the crowdfunder is. So if you can support it, please do, for one last push towards the last leaflet. Our leaflets have caused issues. First and foremost, I've not shared this, I've not put a transmission out to share any of this with you, but firstly, one of our volunteers was chased down the street. He fell as a consequence of being chased and suffered severe injuries. I would say severe injuries. I shared the picture online. The police have been in touch. The police have convinced the victim, who was a 72-year-old pensioner, so we're clear, 3 Asian men. My understanding was that they were Pakistani men, but they might have been Bangladeshi. But 3 Asian men got out of a vehicle and tried to prevent him. He was actually canvassing around the Chadderton Central and Werneth border, for those of you who know that part of the town. That's where he was, and all he was doing was leafleting around the area where he lives. 3 Asian men got out of a vehicle, told him it was a Labour town, he shouldn't be doing what he was doing, and chased him. And as a consequence of a 72-year-old pensioner being chased down the street, just put that into perspective. The Bangladeshis who've been campaigning with me, openly campaigning with me, have been harassed. The families have been intimidated. Online smear campaigns. The police know all about it. The police refuse to intervene. I've spoken to a police officer, it was over a week ago now, and they were meant to get back in touch with me. They haven't got back in touch with me. It's very, very clear this is a gangster-run town, and democracy it doesn't function in Oldham. I am genuinely distraught that so many decent people have risked their lives. I've dealt with it for 5 years, 6 years. I've dealt with it. I'm genuinely distraught that 72-year-old man, pensioner, was chased down the street for delivering my leaflets. I'm distraught that my childhood friends who've come out to campaign and support me have suffered horrendous abuse online. I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have stood. If I knew that decent people were going to be abused and attacked in the way they have, innocent people for exercising their democratic right, I wouldn't have stood. I've come to accept my fate in all of this, but decent people being attacked the way they have in broad daylight, with the full knowledge of Greater Manchester Police and with the silent endorsement of the other political parties, the Oldham Group, the Labour Party. Lib Dems have got nothing to say. Even the Conservatives have remained silent. I don't blame any of them, because who would want this at their doorstep? Despite all this, we are winning votes on the doorstep. We are winning votes every day. The aspiration has always been 15,000 votes. I know we've been mocked repeatedly that we'll get nowhere near, I'll lose my deposit. It doesn't, none of that matters. What matters is that we make a stand. What matters is that we stand tall. And we say no more. No more of this. We know what we're fighting. We're not just fighting Jim McMahon, we're fighting those who are in bed with Jim McMahon. And we're fighting those who want an alternative now that they know Jim McMahon is no longer of use. And I want to play a video that was just shared with me. If I can get it up.
I'm not running election. You're running election, and you are a shamefaced coward. Why did you not vote for a ceasefire? Why did you not vote for a ceasefire, Jim McMahon? You're a sitting councillor. Jim McMahon, Jim McMahon, why did you not vote for a ceasefire? Why did you abstain not vote for a ceasefire, Jim McMahon? Why 11 times? Why 11 times? Why 11 times did you not vote on a CSU motion? 11 times.
I'm a member of the community.
People of Oldham, you're a absolute coward. You've got no backbone. You've got no
I've got the right. Hold on one second. I'm a member of this community. Yeah. I've got right to ask you questions. I've got right to ask you questions. I have. Who are you to say no to me? Who are you to say no to me? I've got right to ask you questions. And if you don't want to talk, then say no.
2.1 million people.
Local you're seeking votes from No, it's not ridiculous. You're seeking votes from people, but then you refuse to talk. Nothing's enough. Who are you to dictate to me enough? I'm here to ask you questions, and you can't talk to me back. Yeah, and then you want us to come and empty me. Let's have a civilized conversation. Yeah, coming about with the crowd. We're asking you simple questions.
Just two questions. If you carry on, no, look, 2 questions. We're going to have no choice but to phone the police. I don't want to do that. But you can't harass people.
No, nobody's harassing you.
You're a sitting MP.
These are the democratic right.
You're a sitting MP. You're in the opposition.
We're not opposition.
I'm not a candidate.
I'm a voter, Jim. You're very wrong. We're voters. You're here to seek support. You're here to, what do you mean no? You're here to seek support. See, you have a problem.
Then you expect me to vote for you. Get in the car. Get in the car.
You've been told.
What do you mean you've been told?
Who are you to tell us? Who are you to tell us? Who are you to tell us?
That is the contempt with which Jim McMahon has treated the white working class for a long time, and now he's treating the Asians. You've been told, shoo. How dare you? You've been told. And yet you Pakistanis and Bangladeshis will still go and vote for this, just in the way the white working class still will go and vote for him, because my granddad voted Labour. Every one of you have been betrayed. Now, I don't agree with the tactics of what's taken place, but these tactics have been encouraged and facilitated by the Labour Party against us. Remember, the leader of Oldham, councillor AROOJ SHAH, openly put love hearts on the endorsement of my murder. McMahon never said anything. McMahon was a partner in whipping up hatred against me and falsifying information, trying to have me incriminated for the firebombing of her car. So the chickens have come home to roost for McMahon and the Labour Party, and the Pakistanis have turned on them. The Pakistanis have turned on them. And if you ask me that question, Pauline, yes. I love to see it. It's, you know, this is a consequence of the way in which they have exploited and abused our communities. And these people, the OGs, which include former Labour Party. Remember, Shoaib Akhtar, one of the OGs, was the deputy leader of Oldham Council. Senior Jim McMahon supporter. Now a prominent figure in this group of men who confronted McMahon on the streets of Hollingwood. Did you see, by the way, how his Pakistani pal, McMahon's Pakistani pal, straight away ran off right at the beginning? One of the I think it's the new doctor, whatever, councillor in Alexandra, ran off. Chickens have come home to roost for McMahon. Chickens have come home to roost so much for McMahon, he can't even spell his name on his own publicity, his own election materials. This is his own published election material. It's called "We're Backing Jim McMahon." He can't even spell his name right, unless someone else has done his work, in which in case he can't read enough. But it's not that, is it? It's the contempt. It's just more contempt in which he treats the town with. And he's got Frank Rothwell openly backing Jim McMahon. Now, Frank Rothwell was made a freeman of the borough, I think, from what I recall. This is not the behaviour of someone who has a status like that. They shouldn't be above politics and not get involved in politics. But of course, we know Frank Rothwell, as the chairman of Oldham Athletic, the owner of Oldham Athletic, his private club received a £1 million grant for their pitch. Now, I don't blame any Frank for taking it, but clearly Frank now has a relationship. So he's down under official Labour Party publicity, backing Jim McMahon to become MP. In this leaflet as well, you can see he's got Jim Griffin, Chadderton resident. McMahon, in the lead up to this election, has shied away from his Muslim core vote areas. There's been no nibbling of samosas. There's been no invitations to mosques. And I am proud of my achievement in making sure that the mosques no longer openly engage in the politics, political politics, because mosques should be above that and separate to that. It's something I've been campaigning for a long time. And if that's all I achieve, then I will take that to my grave satisfied. That religious buildings are no longer being used to promote party politics, or worse. And what I mean by worse is involvement in the harvesting of postal votes. Debbie Abrams, meanwhile, has suddenly decided she's all pro-Palestinian. Labour Friends of Palestine. Remember, we called her Debbie Kashmir for ages? She's now Debbie Palestine, or Debbie Gaza. She's now suddenly standing up for Palestine and human rights. Of course, the truth is she never went to the vote. Where McMahon abstained, Debbie didn't even bother turning up because Debbie was at a party. And then when forced to do something, Debbie posted a video, or produced a video, apologising, but never shared it on her social media pages. It was just shared with the Muslim Council, and it was meant to be hidden from the rest of you. Of course, I got hold of it and shared it with you, and now Debbie Abrams is suddenly Labour Friends of Palestine. And indeed, Imran, the cartels have started a smear campaign. It's been ongoing for some time, saying I'm anti-Muslim, I'm anti-Palestine. Smeared me, chopping up little videos. The police know it's malicious communication. Police know who's doing it. They've even created a fake Facebook account. Some of you are following it, joined friends with it. Some of you are engaging with it. I don't know why you're engaging with it. I don't know what good you think you're doing engaging with a fake account, or what harm it's doing to me and my family. Some of you accepted a friend request. It's a picture of me. And as well as making a whole host of malicious communications, allegations of I'm a child sex offender. The police know who this person is, by the way, who these people are, and they won't intervene because they boast themselves they're protected by the police because of their Labour Party links. They're even using the funeral announcement of my mother to try and attack me. That's right, they're using the funeral announcement of my mother. Greater Manchester Police are partners in this, active partners in this. And have been for a number of years now. So that's Debbie Abrahams. This is Zafar Iqbal. He's gone to the park on the street I grew up to take a picture. Maybe he did that on purpose, maybe he didn't. They're desperately touring around Westwood and Coldust, going in about the Muslim vote. I represent everyone. I represent everyone. I will not pander to this nonsense of somehow he's the candidate for Palestine. Stand with Palestine. No, an MP's first and primary job is to stand for the constituency, the people they represent, and that's all of the people they represent. Muslim, Christian, Jewish, whatever, Hindu, none of the above. I don't care. And I will represent everyone. I am not like these people. Win or lose, I'll never be anything like these people. I'll not engage in sectarian politics. I've been campaigning relentlessly on the doorstep. And in the Muslim community, the Bangladeshi Muslim communities, were the people I was raised with, they have been harassed and intimidated by supporters of the Oldham group for daring to support me. I apologise to all of my friends and family who are enduring the horrific abuse instigated by the Oldham Group supporters. That's not come from Labour, it's come from the Oldham Group supporters. You'll see I've not attacked this man. I don't know this man. I don't agree with his policies of just talking about Gaza, Gaza, Gaza. I have nothing but heartache for any death anywhere in the world, particularly of children. But I will not seek to try and exploit that to gain political capital. Of course, he was nowhere 4 weeks ago. Apparently he's a children's rights campaigner and a solicitor. Well, Zafar, where were you 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, 6 months ago? Where were you? Whilst we are fighting for justice, where were you? Justice for children in our town, where were you? Some of his team met with members of my team last night. There's been constant pressure to have me stand down. Apparently I'm damaged goods, tarnished. Because the damage and the tarnish comes from the consequence of those supporters who try and portray me as anti-Muslim or not Muslim. I've got text messages from a senior councillor's son who's part of their team being spread maliciously that I'm not a Muslim or I'm anti-Muslim. Is this the town you want to live in? Is this the town you people want to live in? Because if it isn't, you need to come out and vote for me. If you don't want to live in a Jim Mark town where he sees you as contemptuous and beneath him and shoo, get away, enough, move, you need to vote for me. If you don't want to live in this sectarian vision, you need to vote for me. This is my friend Imran. Openly supported me. suffered horrific, horrendous abuse online. Is this democracy? Is this the town we want? Is this what you want? Old men chased down the street. People scared of saying they support a candidate. This is the town that Labour built. This is a direct consequence of their divide and rule tactics and their pandering to sectarian narratives. I am nothing like that. I will never be anything like that. These guys at Prabhash Bangla TV and TV 71 or something, I don't know them really. I know one of the guys here, Islam, sorry, my apologies, Islam and I went to school together. Bravely commented and liked on the Facebook post I put up of me getting an MBE from the Queen. He's involved in this Bangla TV channel. They're interviewing me on Wednesday. I think they've interviewed Matt Mann today, Sama Hamdani tomorrow. It's because Matt Mann won't attend any hustings. This is the closest you'll get. I'll happily go to hustings. I won't go to one in a mosque in Glodick because one, I don't attend political events that exclude people by their location, and two, I will not politicise mosques, and three, I will not go to a hustings in a constituency that isn't mine. That doesn't make it a hustings. No matter how much harassment and abuse I get. But I would go to a hustings in Oldham West where I'm standing. Unfortunately, there aren't any hustings because Matt Mann and the machinery of the Labour Party and the establishment in this town has prevented any of that. So this is the closest you'll get. I don't know who Zaki is. I've not ever spoke to him. I look forward to an interview. This I put out. This is the crux of why we started campaigning. Of course, I've got policies and I'll go into them, but this is the crux of why we started campaigning. And this is what I want to talk to you for a minute or two about, first and foremost. There are rumours, and I use the word rumours because I've not seen anything in writing first to quantify exactly what's going on, and I think it's intentional. Councillor Markin stood up in the council chamber at the last council meeting and claimed he'd secured a public inquiry. Absolute bollocks, nonsense. Apparently Brian Hoban has met with 3 survivors. They're not survivors of CSE in the way we say, but they are, 2 of them are definitely survivors of child sex exploitation in some form or another. I have no issue, they can call me names. It makes no difference. I have no issue with these people calling me names. Survivors can do what they want. And they want this victim-led inquiry. I absolutely joke. It's a farce. It's malicious in terms of its... no, malicious is the wrong word. It's... it is misleading. Because another inquiry will not get to the truth because it won't have the statutory powers that a public inquiry has. So which is why Markin says public inquiry, independent investigation. To use all the terminology, but the terminology that matters. And that terminology that matters is just 2 words. Public followed by inquiry. Public inquiry. That's all that matters. We've been campaigning for one relentlessly. Especially more so after Andy Burnham's report was exposed as a cover-up of the cover-up. And the reason why Andy Burnham's report was exposed as a cover-up was because I exposed it as a cover-up of a cover-up. I went through the hundreds of pages and I communicated it with people, with councillors and so on, until everyone could see that it was a cover-up of a cover-up. And also that actually, despite what it said in the headlines, it exposed significant failings within the council and the police. We're campaigning for a public inquiry. It seems Mark Hince and Lisa Nafesy doesn't want one, although Lisa Nafesy signed a petition that we've got out at the moment in support of one, and that kicked off all sorts of nonsense from Councillor Mark Hince, who I've not spoken to. I've communicated in for some time, because actually, despite his ranting online and his various videos and his Nazi uniforms and his drunken gibberish to people late at night, Shaw isn't in Oldham West. And that's exactly what it is. Victim-led equals council squashing the truth, bamboozling the victims. Exactly, Louise. That's exactly what it is. So because I've exposed what they're doing, and it's not just Mark Hince and Lisa Nafesy, it's also Councillor Brian Hoban and Councillor Neil Hindle of the Failsworth Independent Party, who are trying to demonise me and make me out as though I've somehow failed. One of the survivors' parents went online and started attacking me, claiming I never shared evidence with the inquiry. She's not bright enough. Teresa's not bright enough to understand. I wasn't here at the time. But Teresa, if you're listening, how dare you? I've risked my life. I've risked my livelihood. I've risked everything. When no one else was fighting, I am the one who was fighting. How dare you? Because the truth is very simple. I refuse to engage with Andy Burnham's investigating team because I saw the terms of reference. I saw how they were compiling evidence. I said, no. I will give you evidence in open if you take it. They refused, and what did I do? I shared all the information online to the public. And that drove the inquiry, because every allegation I made is what they ended up having to investigate, and every allegation I made that they investigated was proven to be true, from the grooming and gang rape of children at Sisha bars to how the council covered it up, including how they kept it hidden from parents. Shabir Ahmed, 9 times they failed to intervene. Who are they? The police, the council. Black and white in there. It's hidden, but it's in there. I dragged it out, extracted it. Marsden, the McMahon's communication officer, celebrating how he managed to bury it, along with winning Oldham in Bloom or something. This is not an independent public. This is not a public inquiry they're going for. They're going for some bogus nonsense. You need to know what's going on. And sorry, Kel, if you shared it on the Telegram group, it doesn't matter. There's no such thing as an independent inquiry. It's complete irrelevance. We need to block this. And I put out a petition. We're not going to hit the number we need for Friday because not enough of you have signed it. Not enough of you have downloaded the petition and took it to your friends and neighbours to sign it. They've got away with what they've got away with because you've allowed them to get away with it. Not enough of us have been active enough to protect our children, protect our communities, and hold those responsible to account. This is our fault. This is your fault. This is my fault. This is our fault. This is our collective failure as to why they've got away with what they've got away with. We needed 4,000 signatures, probably 5,000 because some of the people signing are out of the area or refused to put their addresses down and things like that. We needed 5,000 physical signatures. Councillor Mark Wilkinson has been in touch. I have issues with Mark Wilkinson. He has issues with me, but I acknowledge and recognise the actions of brave individuals when they are brave and they come forward. And Mark and Sandra Ball have both come forward, and they've got this petition at one of their surgeries tonight. I urge every other councillor, because you know what's going on here. You know what this council is trying to do, and every one of you supported a public inquiry because every one of your opposition councillors supported a public inquiry because you made that clear in the lead up to the election and before AROOJ SHAH managed to do a deal with Hoban and Hince. Only a public inquiry will get to the truth. Another independent investigation that isn't independent is not an investigation led by morons, informed by criminals. No. It won't get you to where you need to be. It won't get us to where we need to be. It won't get us to the truth. And this will go because their strategy is have Raja Mia lose next week. Maybe throw a court case on him or two. He'll get tired, he'll go away, and this issue will go away and we'll go back to normal. And then over a period of time, the cartels will realign with the Labour Party and they'll come to a compromise, a peace accord where they both win. And when they both win, all that happens is you lose and you continue to lose and you lose forevermore. So it's not an independent inquiry, it's bogus, it's false. And we need to get a petition in by Friday. And we can't get it in by Friday. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm not sure what I can do. You've all seen the petition. You can download it, you can sign it. You can get your neighbours to sign it. There's 16 names on there. There's 165 of you watching now. If you just downloaded that and went around your neighbours' houses, each of you, it'd be done. Why are you bothering getting into that nonsense? You don't understand why they've signed an NDA. Who cares? What you need to understand, it's not a public inquiry. That's where it starts, that's where it ends. The rest of it is bullshit. It's not a public inquiry. And only a public inquiry can get to the truth. You've seen it in Grenfell. You've seen it with the post office scandal. You've seen it with Hillsborough. Only a public inquiry will get to the truth of the cover-up and the scale of the cover-up. And once we manage it in Oldham, it'll open up the flood. It'll open up the floodgates and the children in Rotherham will get justice. The children in Huddersfield will get justice. Birmingham, everywhere. And why? Why is Oldham different from everywhere else? Anywhere else? Oldham is different from everywhere else and anywhere else because Oldham has me. We need 16,000, somewhere around 16,000, 15, 16,000 to win. The aspiration has always been 10,000 white votes, 5,000 Bangladeshi votes and 1,000 from anywhere and everywhere else. I've got a small team of volunteers. We're knocking on doors day and night. I'd hoped more of you would join me, but more of you haven't joined me. A day, an afternoon, an evening. Delivering some leaflets. Yet no one. It's a small team. What is it you want? Is it entertainment you want? If it's entertainment you want, I'm sure someone else will plug this void next week or the week after, because if it ends, it ends. I mean it when I say surrender. Who will have not just the skills but the courage and the commitment to do what I've done? I released some information yesterday. You would not know, the opposition councillors would not know, and I asked the opposition councillors now who are watching this to raise questions, serious questions with AROOJ SHAH, leader of Oldham Council, serious questions with Harry Caffrell, and serious questions with whoever's in charge of the police. A senior Oldham councillor in the Labour Party was bailed for rape. This information was kept hidden from the council, knew about it by the way. I've had it confirmed internally from my sources in the council. So what I share with you, I've had confirmed from my sources in the council. Senior Oldham councillor, bailed for rape. Continued to serve as a councillor, it was all kept hidden. The newspapers never reported for it. And the police, the way the police went about investigating it was to contact the council. To let them know, so that the councillor could be informed. The names right now don't matter, I have the names. But I saw what they did to a white councillor in Chadderton South. and how the Labour Party hounded him. Well, AROOJ Shah knew, Harry Caffrell knew. This town is broken. And the only way we can get to where we need to get to is by getting me over the line. I don't want to be a politician. I never wanted to be a politician, but the only way we can get to fixing this town is by getting me over the line. So you need to vote for me. And if you can't vote for me, you need to come out and help me get the votes I need. We've got just over a week to do it. What do you want? It's a question you've got to ask yourself. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, what is it you want? Can I give any more? We've got one last round of leaflets coming out tomorrow. Get in touch and help us deliver them. Help us get the word out. Makes a massive difference when ordinary people say, vote for this man. Knock on the door and say, vote for this man. Have you heard about this? Vote for this man. And the petition, you've all got it. Download the bloody thing and sign it. What's stopping you? Take some bloody responsibility. This is your town. This is our town. Doesn't matter how powerful they are. How can we surrender like this?
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them. On the 20th of November 2003, James Ignatius O'Rourke McMahon was elected councillor for the Failsworth East Ward of Oldham. Deeply ambitious, he ruthlessly rose to power, and by 2011 he was already leader of the council. In 2015, exploiting a Labour Party loophole, he became MP for Oldham West and Royton. If only the people of the town knew then what they now know. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.